What is up, everybody? As I promised, I am giving you an analysis video this week. Hopefully, I'll be doing this every week. So I'm going to be talking about all the pairs. We're going to go through them, and we're going to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And don't forget to read this risk disclaimer. If you need to, pause it. We'll see you in just a minute. What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to go over the markets. Markets just opened up about an hour ago, and I haven't done an analysis video yet, so I wanted to go through what I look at in the market, and then once I go, I look at each individual index for the dollar, pound, yada yada yada, until I go through all 8 major pairs to see who's strong, which currency pair is strong, which currency pair is looking weak, and then I build a structured watch list, and those are the pairs that I'm going to concentrate on that week. And then now that it's Sunday, I'm going to look at swing highs and swing lows and where the market's at on those specific pairs. The pairs that, for example, Canadian dollar is pretty weak right now, and the Aussie dollar has been strong last week. So I'm going to be looking at that first, which is on the top of my list anyway. So we're going to go with that. But I'm going to go through all the pairs real quick, just to see what we got. But right now on AUDCAD, we're on the daily time frame, and we actually have a swing high here. It's hard to see, but this candle is higher than this candle, and of course this candle. So I'm wanting to see what happens here. Normally I would wait for a pullback here, which I am actually still waiting to see if it does pull back here. But at the moment, just kind of to give you an idea of what I'm looking for, let me go to the 1 hour time frame. What I'm looking for is this to break above here, to look for liquidity, and I want to see what the market does at this point. I want to see it break over 10 pips, usually anywhere from 12 to 15 pips. Could go a little further than that. And I'd like to see a deep pullback. If it pulls back and takes out these lows here and bounces off this consolidation area right here, we have this consolidation area right there. What I'm expecting, which this would be a demand area if you're a supply and demand trader. Now, I don't actually specifically trade supply and demand, but I do look at supply and demand for areas of possible reversals, especially when you get a confluence of supply area and demand areas with a structure break. And if it pulls into this area, breaking this structure here, and it bounces pretty strongly, I will be bullish for sure in this trade. And in that instance, I could take the trade here, putting my stop below here, and trying to go for a very nice trade. Or I could wait to see if it breaks back above here, above whatever high it made. And this could continue down into here from now and go up here. If it does that, I will really be bullish if it comes to this area and starts moving up, because it has in the Forex world, it's called a triple top. If that happens, that's definitely a liquidity pool to look for, to break above. So that's actually the pair I'm really going to be watching this week. I really expect to see some nice movement out of this pair. I just don't know if CAD is strong enough right at this moment to continue this down right now. So we're going to see what happens. It could just break above here. If it breaks pretty high above here, then I'll wait for a pullback into this area again, and then continuation from there. So just waiting. It's a waiting game there. So let's go to AUDCAD. I don't think I have anything really going on there. That's just some old stuff. AUDJPY. Nothing really there for me. As you can see, it's sideways, and both these two markets are pretty strong right now, so there's not going to be a lot of movement. Nzd, of course, both of these are actually strong at the moment, so not going to do anything. So I'm not really looking to trade this. If its NZD does strengthen up and AUD weakens, you will see some movement down, at least to take out this daily candle here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There's a wick right here. It could come down, take that wick out, but then probably go back into a range. If it does venture down to here, we're going to see it come down into this area and probably stay in a range. Not expecting at this point for it to come all the way down here yet. It'd have to break this low first, then pull back before I'd be interested in that. Let me go ahead and mark that off. But for now, nothing going on there. AUD/USD, both pairs are about the same. As you can see, been sideways for a few days. The US dollar is actually a little bit strong right now, so this could potentially continue down. If we go to the daily time frame here, you can see we are on the daily time frame starting to go bullish for the AUD/USD, but it could pull back into these moving averages and then continue higher. So at this point, that's probably what's going to happen this week. We're going to see some bearishness with the AUD/USD, but we got to see how if the AUD weakens or not. If it doesn't, then it's probably just going to go sideways. And once it's going to go sideways, the moving averages will move up to it. Then you might see some movement up. So nothing there either. Kitty and JPY. I'm actually in this trade, as we talked about in the previous video. And as you can see, I'm still in profit right now. Probably expect to see a little bit of a pullback or sideways action before this moves, because it is Sunday, so I don't expect this candle to get very big. Probably tomorrow, or maybe tonight it might move, but tomorrow for sure we'll start seeing some movement. For now, we're going to see, and we're going to wait and see what this is. Again, this is my 9 EMA strategy that I will go over. I'm going to probably do that video this week. That way you guys can get an understanding of how that works. But a little tidbit, little bonus. This is the 9 EMA, this white line for me. And as you can see, we're in consolidation here. And we finally break through the consolidation. And we get a body close below that in the trend, in the direction of the trend. I wait for a pullback. And then once we get the pullback past the 9 EMA, you can either wait for it to break below this, which I do that most of the time, just to get a little bit of extra confirmation. If it breaks below, it triggers you into the entry, and your stop loss is going to be above this candle, and then you're going to let it ride. And as long as it doesn't break above the 9 EMA, then you'll be okay to stay in the trade. If you get a pretty decent size trade, you can either target here, which to be safe, you would want to have targets. You could target here and take profit, which you'd get a nice trade there. Let me show you that really quick. I'm going to try not to let this video get too long, but once I see stuff, I like to talk about it. So apologize for that if that happens. But I want to make sure that everybody gets as much information as they can from me. So we're going to move. This is where your stop loss would be, and this is where your target would be. So you get a nice almost 2.5 to 1 trade there. If you held, I have another way to exit where you hold once it breaks above the 9. But if you could see in these really big moving pairs like Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen, you can get some really explosive movement. And if you waited for that, you'd come all the way up here, and you would hardly get any profit out of that. You get 1-to-1, or you could hit a stop loss. But I would prefer, what I've told my students is, if you are trading this, another way to do it is as you get a swing high form, you can move your stop loss above that. Once it's formed and moved down, once it gets a break, you can move your stop loss, move your stop loss, move your stop loss. But as you can see, right here, you might have your stop loss. You probably still have your stop loss up here, so you would pretty much get about the same profits as you would before. So I like to target, like I said, I like to target swing highs and swing lows, major swing highs and swing lows. And that's where the market's going to move. So it's just safer. You get a better winning percentage out of that. But I'm definitely still bearish on the CAD JPY. Maybe you could see it get a little pullback back up here and get an entry. But again, remember my risk disclaimer, these trades are my opinion, and I don't expect, I'm not responsible for your losses or your wins. If you win, awesome. If you lose, make sure you've got the risk management in place, and hopefully you're using a demo to learn. But let's go on to Euro AUD. Euro AUD, it's going to be iffy at this point. As you can see, we've been sideways. We could see movement higher, just to pull back, then we're continuation. I think Euro is finally weakening down, and AUD is going to stay strong. So that's a good one to look for. At this point, we're still waiting to see what happens. We got a doji here, so I want to see a break above or below. I'm really expecting this to probably go higher up into this moving average, or just breaking this high and then moving lower. So at this point, that's what we're waiting for. If I go to the 1 hour here, this is the high from Friday. So I'm really expecting it to break this high. And want to see what it does here. So still waiting on that, nothing special. So let's go on to EuroCAD. EuroCAD's another I'm watching. Again, CAD's weak, but Euro's also starting to weaken. So you see we get a lot of sideways action here. We got a little bit of Canadian strength, but then it pulled back up. So the Canadian strength is kind of moving up and down towards the downward side. So I don't think this is going to go anywhere this week. If it does, it's just going to be a little blip up for maybe the banks need to convert some money over for some large businesses, but I don't think it's going to be any actual institutional order flow for entries. So I'm going to move on to Euro Pound. Euro Pound is dead sideways. That's because the pound and the euro are kind of in a stalling out, weakened state, so they're not really doing anything they're just kind of stalled. The pound is still stronger than the euro at this point, though, so you should be seeing some bearishness here, just not very quickly. Euro JPY, this is another one. I'll show you here in just a second. Let me go to the 1 hour time frame. I'm definitely looking for this to go lower. At this point, I'd like to see a break above these highs coming into this order block area here, this sideways action, come right up into here. So we're going to see a fake out coming into the order block, and then we're going to see it drop. It could come all the way up into this tighter order block, but this is really an order block here. There's a lot of accumulation, but it depends. I just don't know if there's enough euro strength. If the euro is not strong and you see it come up here, definitely be a seller. That's my opinion, because the euro is not very strong at this coming into this week, and that could be banks manipulating the market to pull the price up high enough to enter in some large sell orders. And there could be pending orders sitting right into this area, and they're trying to move the market back up into that area to trigger those selling orders and add orders on top of that. So really, really bearish on this market, especially with the JPY being as strong as it is this week. So that's another good potential trade that I'm looking for. So AUDCAD and Euro JPY at this point. Euro Nzd, not really expecting anything out of this one, I don't believe. This one's stalling out, and you can see we're kind of an uptrend. So we'll see what happens. Euro's kind of weakening right now. Nzd is strong. So if we're going to do anything, we're just going to probably stall out, then continue lower to at least here. And we're going to be into a ranging market, I believe. That's what I'm looking at there. Euro USD, I am in a trade with Euro USD, and it is not doing well. I expect it to come lower. because the euro was so weak. No, I'm sorry. I was expecting to go higher last week because euro kind of started out pretty strong, as right here, as you can see. But then it weakened out quite a bit once it came up and took out this high and came into this order block here. So we are moving lower, and I went ahead. I'm going to go ahead and probably close this down, even though my stop loss is below here. I don't feel pretty good about this trade at this point. I think it's going to go lower. So I actually, if I get a pullback up into here, if it does move higher today, which is starting to try to move higher, I might try to cut this loss a little bit higher up, take a smaller loss, and then I might actually enter this for a sell on a long-term trade, targeting down here because the dollar has been strong and the euro has been weakening. And I'm sorry if I sound sick because I am sick. Have strep throat, so it doesn't feel good to talk, but I wanted to get this video out of the way this week since I am home because I did not go to work. Pound AUD, this one, not quite sure what's going to happen with it. It's coming into this. It's already came in, bounced off of this little support area right here. Not quite sure if the pound is going to stay weak or not at this point. And the AUD is strong, so if it does, it's going to continue lower, but I don't think it's going to do much. Probably going to start ranging. Pound CAD. Pound CAD is another one. I think we will see movement up. I'm waiting to see what happens today, Monday, and I want to see if it, or Sunday and Monday, and I want to see if it breaks this high. If it does break this high, I'm going to watch for a pullback. So let me go down to the 1 hour time frame. So this is the high of the day here, but I like to see it break this little high here and then continue up and then move down and then maybe look for an entry, or it could go up all the way up to here, but I don't think it needs to do that. CAD's pretty weak right now, so I just want to see some confirmation of a movement above a swing high. Once we see that, then I'm going to look for a pullback. Either, like I said, my normal fib entry or just some other ideas that I have when I trade. Might expect it to come down below this low, then come up, which would be my entry area. So we'll see how that one works out. Let me mark this for myself right there. But at this point, don't know what's going to happen just yet. If you notice, I'm focusing a lot on CAD pairs because the CAD's so weak right now. I was looking at a possible buy scenario here, but at this point right now we're sideways. Not seeing the pound to strengthen yet, so I'm waiting to see what happens. Might actually still enter this trade if we zoom out a little bit here. We came into a larger time frame trend line, and we're stalling out. So I'm expecting this to go up, but I'm not going to be looking for a fib entry. That'll help you see better. But I'm just expecting a breakout above, just a breakout period. Once I see a nice move, breakout. Let me pull it down here. Let me mark this out for you. Okay. So I'm expecting a breakout pattern to emerge through here. We're in a little ascending triangle, or bullish triangle here, and I'm expecting the market. Well, actually, it looks like it's going to be breaking lower, but I don't think it's going to break lower. It could, but Swiss franc pairs don't really move that big. They stay pretty tight and they move rangy. So I'm going to wait to see if it breaks here and maybe break above these highs here before I would even think about trading this. I'm not a big Swiss franc, trader. I don't like to trade them that much, but it is making an interesting. See if you see where we're at here. We've got a nice little triangle forming here, which would look like it's going to go to the downside, but I don't think so. I think it's going to go higher, just because the Swiss franc is just really weak, and it's not a pair that really does anything major. As you can see, we got a lot of sideways action. We do get moves, but when we get moves, they usually come back into a range. But because of this move here, this big, huge, massive move here, of 50 pips, which is a pretty big move in Swiss franc pairs, I think we're going to get, as long as we don't break below here, especially below here, we should be bullish here. But for now, we're waiting. Nothing I want to trade on that. Okay, pound JPY. Let's go back to the daily here. Pound JPY, it's just in a range right now. If you're a range trader, you're probably going to continue to trade this to the bottom of the range, and it could break out at this point because the JPY is pretty strong and the pound has been kind of weakening. So that's a possibility. I would look for a little bit of a pullback entry on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday and see if we can get a move down. But we'll see. It could just continue down from there because we did get a little bit of pullback on Friday. So sorry about that. That is my fund manager. We'll be talking here in a minute. Now, pound NZD. Let me see what I got here. I'm expecting this to go lower, but let me see what I got here right now. Oh, that's an old trade that I did not take because I started to see the bearishness, so I didn't take that trade. But I was looking for a pullback in here, but we actually, because we broke the high, but it happened so late in the week that I decided to abandon the idea. So, boom. Okay, so going to be bearish here. Would like to see a movement up into this order block before moving down. It could go even deeper. So it could come into the fib retracement, which will pull it from here. I mean, it's going to go all the way down from here. So up into this area, I could be seeing a trade, but I don't know if it'll make it up to this order block or not. It might not make it through here. So there's a couple of things you want to look at on that. But definitely bearish. Pound USD, that's the old other trade idea I had, but I abandoned that as well because it was too late in the week. Oops, I hate when I do that. Perfect, gone. Okay, and this pair, again, I'm bearish, but I don't see a lot of movement to the downside at this point. Probably going to go sideways, then move down. We are coming into the holidays here in America, so I don't know if any of the USD pairs are really going to do much. If anything, they would pull back. So not really anything here with pound USD. It just depends on what happens during the week. So we're going to Nzd Cad. Nzd Cad, this one I'm expecting a pullback into this area or into this area here. So I'd like to see a pullback. It could continue higher from here and break this high. Let me pull back a little bit there. I would like to see a pullback, though, at least into this support area. I'd like to see that happen. If it does come this low, I'll definitely be bullish. It depends on when it happens during the week. If it happens, Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll be bullish. But it depends. CAD's kind of weak right now, so it just could continue higher and take this high out, then move lower. So at this point, we're just waiting on that pair, Nzd Cad, and we're getting there. We're getting there. Nzd JPY. This is another one where I'm expecting a move lower. We did have a swing high form, and we're now getting a pullback up, probably to take out this previous day's high and then move lower. It just depends. It could go sideways because NZD is a little bit strong. I don't know I think the Japanese yen is stronger, so I think we are going to get movement lower. So we'll see if it takes out this high here on Friday. And if it does, then we can be targeting down here. So I'm going to wait and see. So again, market manipulation, I'm expecting that because we have equal swing highs here. If you could see that right here and right here. So I think we're going to take that out, and then we're going to move lower on the NZD JPY. If anything, it'll take that out. We'll just go back into a range. This is a range. So we'll see what it happens there. But definitely bearish tone here. It's not a very strong bearish tone. And whoa, what's on here? Let's go back to daily. NZD USD. Oh, I was expecting this to come down here eventually. Take a while, I think. I don't know. I'm expecting a pullback here because the dollar is kind of strong, but NZD is too, so it could go sideways and then move higher. So we'll see what happens there. Again, just looking at currency strengths pitted against each other. And so right now they're both kind of strong. So we're probably going to see sideways action this week. And we'll see which one weakens first. And that's the direction it'll go before it continues in the direction it should go. So I'm expecting the NZD USD to continue higher. But if it weakens, like I said, this could be the move up for liquidity, and they're going to start putting orders in to bring it lower. So we'll see what happens. Most likely it's probably just going to come back in the range, and then we'll see where it happens from there. USD Cad. This is a trade idea I feel pretty comfortable with. I think we're going to go higher. We've been in a range. It did not make it to the we're in a range. I'm going to zoom in. As you can see, we have really structured highs here, even highs, and down here we had even lows, and then we had a break below that and a huge move up. Then we stalled out before this range or before this resistance area and pulled back for a deep entry. Pull back, and I think we're moving higher now. I didn't get to trade this because I didn't look at USD Cad last week that much. So let me go down here. Now what I'm looking for, I would like to see a pullback down into here, but it might not make it there. We might get a pullback into this area, this consolidation area here that moved the market down and then move higher. But I think we'll make it pretty far down here before we get a move up. But we'll see. Canadian's kind of weak. So again, we could see some slight movement and then a movement higher on USD CAD. That's another really good pair that I'm watching. So as you can see, CAD pairs are kind of the thing to do this week that I'm looking at. But I'm not going to trade all these pairs, whatever one gives me the best setup with what I think should be the best movement with the best price is the one I'm going to trade with it when it comes to CAD. I already have a CAD JPY trade going, but that is a long-term trade, so I'm looking for something more short-term, just a day or two, just to make some pips for this week. So I'm going to be watching those pairs so far. I think it's CAD. AUDCAD, USD CAD here, and Euro JPY is another one I'm looking at. Okay, USD Swiss franc, we're looking for a breakup here to see what happens. I think we're going to continue higher as usual when it comes to the USD Swiss franc. This is the USD weakness over a period of a month or so, but the pound, the Swiss franc has definitely weakened quite a bit. So definitely think we're going to go higher. So this is going to be, we're going to wait for this break. This will be first target. This will probably be second target. I will probably be trading that. This depends on how the dollar does this week. USD JPY, this is another one. It's kind of one of those probably going to go sideways, but what I'm expecting is, again, breaking this high and then moving lower. So I don't know on that one yet. That one's another one. I'm just waiting. Both pairs are kind of, or both currencies are kind of strong. And we'll look at gold really quick if it'll load. There we go. Okay, so let's look at gold starting with a weekly. Now, gold has been going up, but we've gotten dollar strength, so it has been moving down. It has now come in a pretty nice price range if it was to go higher. But at this point, I think the dollar is going to continue to be strong at least till the beginning of next year. here for about a month and a half or two, and then before it does continue to get weak. That's just the trend. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. The dollar could continue to stay strong from now on through next year, but at this point, I would be bearish on gold, just at least till we get to this point here, or if we see a move that breaks above this swing high. So I would expect to pull back here in the next day or two, and then a continuation down to this. This would be your target here on gold if you're able to trade gold. US, if you have a US broker, you're not able to trade gold. If you are not in the US, you can. So this would be your target area, and this would be your confirmation area to know that we're moving back up right in this area here. We have some somewhat equal highs here, so that could be a target area. So right now we're just waiting, but at this point, since we've been taking out swing lows, I expect this to go lower. If you zoom out, we're pretty much in a range. So slightly up bullish, but that's the overall trend. I'm looking at the immediate trend. And once that immediate trend is broken, that's when I'll change my sentiment. But I think we're bullish or bearish here. So that's it on this market analysis for this week. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of there. Watch those pairs if you're interested in watching them. Again, this is the pair I'm really looking at, the AUDCAD, to go lower. It's at a high price point, so, and it is in a supply zone, so I think this is going to go lower quite a bit. So if I'm right and I get in here, we're going to have a nice long trade down here, and we're going to get a nice profit target. So that's what I'm looking for. We're talking with this one, I'm looking for a long-term trade, possibly some short-term in between. But this is a really strong pair that I really like to look at. So I'm just waiting to see what we get out of it. So I have to watch this a little bit closer. We've got this area here. And, oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this backwards. Not looking for it to go down here. It could come down here. That's what it is, for a move higher, but I don't think so. I think we're going to go higher. I'm sorry. Waiting for the break. Looking for this to come lower, then go up higher. Sorry, I'm sick. Bear with me. I'm expected to come down here. I was looking at the wrong total pair. We're going to look for it come all the way down here. Look for a nice long-term trade to the upside. We're going to come down, and if we come all the way down here, I'm definitely going to be buying with a nice tight stop loss below the range. And we're going to have a very small stop loss with a nice first profit reward or total profit reward. Depends on what I want to do. But I'm looking at this for a long term. Now we're on the right. I'm expecting it to at least go to here. And then we're going to, so if we did enter at this area here, say we entered right at the top of this area, and we aimed to this target. I mean, we're looking at 170-ish pips with about a 30 pip stop loss maybe. So that would be a beautiful, nice trade. But that definitely expected to break these two equal highs. So that's my trade. I think it's going to be the good trade. If it breaks below that demand area, be really surprised. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it will break that demand area, especially with the setup. It came down here, didn't touch it, right in the middle of the liquidity void. There's no liquidity here, it's just straight up, and then turned away and went sideways. I think we're going to pull back into this area. I hope it does. I really don't want it to break higher and then retest. I would prefer it to come lower and get me a really good price and get me a really nice reward out of that. But that's it for this video. Really appreciate the views that I'm getting. I know most of you know me already. We're really trying to reach out to some new people. Really want to help people. That's all this is about. I could just keep all this to myself and bring capital up and trade, but I really want to help other people. So You get a lot of free content from me. Pretty much everything that I have is right here. The only thing you're not getting from me is written out trade strategies. I want you guys to come up with their own strategies and just learn the price action from me. And I would love to see comments. If you're follow me on different social medias, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I have a Facebook page that you can, that all those links are in the description. Follow me there. I got a lot of information there too. A lot of updates on what I'm trading and things like that. But leave comments. Let me know how things are going. If you're learning from this, awesome. I want to hear from it. If you're confused, let me know. Leave a comment and I'll answer your questions. But I like to help people, and I'm with a company called Imarketslive. If you have a lot of education, we have a lot of tools to help you make money while you're learning. And if you're interested on that, I have the video for it. If you go to my very first video, you can watch my story with Imarketslive and how it changed my life. And you can see the presentation. And if you're interested, join up. You'll be in my private group and you'll get all the information you need when it comes to trading. I'll send you all my strategies, things like that. But you don't have to get in that if you want to get information from me here. That's just something that if you're really, really serious about learning how to trade, you can earn while you learn. And, at the same time, you'll be getting mentorship from me. I will help you along the way to get set up and working. And that's pretty much it. Please like this video or not if you don't like it. But I sure hope you do. Please subscribe and leave a comment below. And if you want more videos and you want to get them update right when I post them, click on that little bell next to the subscribe button. And we will see you next time.
I've been watching you.